Okay, class. So we go to the second part of the our session. So hopefully you are ready. Okay. This example will show you. This programming will show you how to do the programming to receive 2D array. Okay. So this is the question. Okay. Before break, just now I show you this table, which is this table consists of student ID, okay, and then the task 1 marks, task 2 marks, and task 3 marks for 5 students, okay, for 5 students. But it's actually to start the programming, to start the program, maybe you can have a short example of data. For example, like this, we only provide two students. Okay, the marks for 2 students. Okay, task 1, task 2, and task 3 marks for these 2 students. Okay, maybe we can start with the few data first before we go for the more than 2 data. Okay, right. So how to do this? So this is just now I tried the code. So this is the successful code. Okay. So if you have this data, when you see this data, you know that this is 2D array. This need to apply 2D array, two-dimensional array. Multi-dimensional array here means that your program have more than one-dimensional array. One-dimensional array is actually consists of one row with multiple columns. But for multi-dimensional array, you need to know how many rows do you have and how many columns do you have. Okay, sorry, how many axes do you have? In this case, we only have 2 axes for the row and for the columns. Okay, so in this case, we have row and columns. So this is what we call as a 2D array. Right? So in this 2D array, let's say I would like to call this, I would like to give the name for this array is task mark. Okay, so this array will be with a name, task mark. Okay, task mark. In this task mark, it will have how many rows? Okay, this array task mark will have, okay, it has 2 rows and 1, 2, 3, 4 columns. Okay, so this task mark array will have 2 rows and 4 columns, right? So the 2 rows will the first row will consist of this data 1, 20, 19.5, 18.2, while the second row will consist of data of 2, 18.5, 20, and 19.2. Okay, this is how we analyze our data. Okay, now, so task mark is the name given to the array. So what is the data type of this task mark? Okay, this is the name. What is the data type? Data type of array task mark. What is it? It is, as you can see here, this data is example of integer data. Okay, for column student number, this 1 and 2 is integer. For task 1 column here consists of 20, which is integer data. 18.5 is actually float. Okay, while task 2 has a value of float type, okay, and integer type. So while task 3 consists of float and float. Okay. If you recall the definition of array, the definition of array is a collection of the same data type. Okay, if you recall the definition of array is defined as a collection of same data type. Right? So this is the name of the array. The data type you need to decide which data type that will be held by this task mark. Okay, because as you can see in this table, the value can consist of integer and float. So you need to decide which data type that you want to use as task mark. Okay, sebab dia mesti same data type. Okay, same data type, meaning that it has for this it has integer and float. So you need to choose which one. So for me, I will decide as a float. Okay, the task mark here will be receive float data type. Why? Because if you put it as a float as an integer here, you cannot enter any data that consists with the decimal point. Okay, but if you put it as a float here, the data type for the task mark is float, it can receive the data of float and also integer. Okay, so now you decide. So for this program, for my analysis here, I said that the data type for this array is a float type, and this array has 2 rows and 4 columns. Okay, for this based on this example. Okay, so now I know that this is 2D array. The task mark is 2D array, and it has data type of float. So maybe now we can start with the program. So we only for simplicity we only read data from the keyboard and also just display without do any manipulation. Okay, right, so start with the file, empty file. Okay, so now we start with this is program example 1A, right? So we start with the skeleton, the IO stream. Kecil sangat ni. Right, include IO stream. So now using namespace std ihmail. Okay, and this is return 0. Okay, I save this file first and name it as a program example 1. Okay, so kalau you terus tekan save kat sini kan, dia akan jadi .c kan, dia akan jadi .c. So make sure you .cpp. Okay, So you will put the algorithm first. The algorithm is to read a task mark of 2 students. Okay, and display the marks. Display the marks of task of 2 students. Okay. Right. So you have this side. Uh, you already done uh, the skeleton. Good job. So we have right. We know that this is 2D array. So how to provide 2D array is by specifying the this is the name. Before this, you only have one angle bracket like this. Okay. So for 2D array, you need two angle bracket. Two angle bracket. Okay. The first angle bracket is to indicate the row. Okay, and uh, the row index, and the second bracket is to indicate the the column index. Okay, so okay, so uh, let's say this is the example. So what is the index of the first here? Okay, saya copy balik ni. Mungkin boleh tengok what is the index. Okay, so the index is for this part, for 1 here is actually 0, 0. Column is 0. Okay. Sebab dia start dengan, mungkin saya boleh tunjuk macam ni kot. Sekejap. Okay. So let's say this is how I want to illustrate to you how the index of row and column is actually uh, the element is placed in the index of row and column. So this is the row, okay, and this is the column, right? So this is the column and this is the row. Okay, so the index of the row here is actually start with the 0 and the next is 1. Okay, because the size of the row is actually 2. Okay, while for the column here, the index start with 0. Okay, and the next is 1. Okay, the third column is 2 and the last column is 3. Okay, it has the size of this column is 4. Okay, the size of this column is 4. Okay, the size of this column is actually 4. Size column is 4. Okay. Okay, the size of this column is 4, while the size of the row is 2. Okay, so but the index start with 0 and 1 for row, and the index for column is start with 0 and end with 3. Okay, so the element here, the data of 1 here is stored inside the index of row and column. In this case, 1 is stored inside the 0, 0. Okay. For 2 here, this 2 is actually stored inside the row of index. Row dia adalah 1. Manakala column dia adalah kosong. Okay, kosong. Dia 1, dia mesti start row and column. Right? So for this 20 is actually stored in the index of row is called 0, column is 1. Okay, for 19.5 here is stored inside the index of 0, row, and index of 2, column. Okay, and same goes to this 18.2. 18.2 is stored inside the row of 0 index and column of 3 index. Okay, for the second row here, 18.5 is stored inside the row 1, row of index 1 and column of index 1, while for the 20 here is stored inside the row 1, okay, and column 2. Okay, for 19.2 is stored inside the row 1 and column of index 3. Okay, this is how it's stored in the program. Okay, if you know the location like this, you can simply put it here, right? Let's say this is read task mark of 2 students. See out. You ask the user to enter the task mark for 2 students. Okay. So let's say you know that this is the location to input for the 1, 20, 90.5 and 80.2. So this number is actually input by the user markah ni. Jadi kat sini you boleh buat cara sequential kalau you nak. Kita practice dulu guna sequential. Let's say you want to solve this problem using sequential program, sequential structure. If you provide the sequential structure, it seems like macam ni. Okay, to enter this, okay, so you kata task mark, okay, nilai dia is 0, 0. Okay, so in order to enter the task 1 mark, so this is 0, 1. This one is here is 0, 2. Here is 0, 3. Okay, this is to input the third task mark. Okay, for the second user here, for second student is 1 and 0. So I can copy all this. Okay, this is, I need to change only the row index. Okay, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2 and 1, 3, 1, 3. Okay, right. So after that, after receive all the inputs needed, then I will display the marks. So this is I want to display the marks. So let's say I want to display the marks based on this format. Okay, student P. This is one line, so maybe I can put it tab /t. This is to represent tab. If you have only one /t, meaning that one tab, since then followed by task 1 mark, task 1, then followed by the escape tab. So I can copy this one. Okay, so okay, this is the space tab, task 2, and another one to have task 3. Okay, so the next info will be placed on the next line. Okay, so I will display 0, 0 to 0, 3 at one line, and 1, 0 to 1, 3 is another line. So meaning that this one set is one line, so then another set is the second line. Okay, so between this data and this data, should be separated by using the same thing, the same format, which is escape sequence here. Type escape sequence, so I put it there, all the search thing. Okay. This is to format, do the formatting. All right. I think that's all. For the first part, I just want to see what I get from this code so far. Okay, so I like to have. So this is how my program looks like. Okay, I have how many lines here? One, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 line. 8 lines of code to receive the input. And oh, this is for output should be. So this is line to provide the output. It's not or CE. Okay. As you can see, by using the sequential structure, is actually time consuming because you need to repeat the same thing all over again. Okay, so in this case, I think okay, done. So maybe I can build to see. Oh, I have one error because I did not declare the task mark. Okay, the task mark is okay. This will have 2 rows and 4 columns. So I want to make it as a local decoration. So the task mark has size of row, and also size of column. Okay, and this task mark is actually fruit type. Okay, we already decide during the requirements. This is the fruit types. So fruit types. Okay, so if you can see here, I'm using a variable name for size row and size column. So I didn't represent any values for size row and size column. If you forgot to provide the name, the number of size row and the number of size column, if you just proceed to the build, so it will produce you the error again. This time is more than one error. Okay. All right. So how to overcome this? Okay. I will do the declaration for size row and size column at the global declaration. Since this is a fixed number of value, I can use constant. Okay, constant. And since the value that hold by the size row is integer value, so I use int here. Okay, then size row. Okay, what is the size of row here? In this case, the size of row is 2. Okay, the size of row is 2. The right size of column is 4. So the size of row is 2. And the size of column is 4. So when you provide like this, size row equal to, meaning that the size row, okay, this is 2. Okay, size col is 4. So this is here. So this is 4. Okay, so now try to build. Hopefully there is no error. Okay, no error. Now you can proceed for the execution. Okay, so based on this, I would like to have my execution based on this value. Okay, so the first, sorry, enter the task for 2 students. Okay, the first is 1. Okay, and the next is 20, followed by 19.5 and 18.2. Okay, so because my code is based on horizontal first. Okay, the horizontal first, right? Then I will create another line, which is for student 2. Okay, 2, this is 18.5, 20, and lastly is 19.2. Okay, when I press enter, it should display all the marks, and student number based on this format. Okay, so as you can see, okay, this is student number 1 and 2, 1 and 2. So only this part is not in its column. So what you need to do is do the formatting. Okay, modify a little bit for the formatting. I think the formatting is on the after the student ID. So here I will put another this separation tab here. Okay, for the ID and also for the second student. Right? Okay, now try again. Okay, 1, 20, 19.5, 18.2. Then for the second student is 18.5, 20 and 19.2. So now the output is almost the same with this. Okay, it has student number, task 1 and task 2 and task 3. Okay, and each data is allocated on each cells. Okay, so this is the code that we designed by using sequential structure, which is not it's not a good practice lah. Tapi kalau dah tak boleh sangat, inilah caranya. Okay, so I provide the code here. Boleh follow tak setakat ni? Any questions so far? Ada soalan? Kelas? Ada orang ke tak ni?
Ada.
So
Madam,
Ha.
atas sikit nak tengok coding atas.
Atas ni. Ke?
Okay. Ya, sekejap.
Okay, after this, I will show you how to modify this program so that, but not using sequential structure. Mm, in order for us to have a shorter program, huh?
Saya ada 2 error tapi error tu tak tahu kat mana.
Okay, nak share screen ke? Yang lain dah dapat ke kod ni? Ke saya
Dapat.
share?
Error dekat WinMain. WinMain 16.
16, line 16 ni.
Tak, WinMain. Undefined reference to WinMain. Ni dah.
Ejaan dia macam mana?
Win
WIN,
main.
min, MAIN.
Ha.
Cuba tengok kat sini.
Salah. Sekejap. Okay, boleh lah.
Okay, salah eja
Panjang sangat.
So, yelah. That's why ini kira macam, ini masih kita consider sebagai small program Ada error lagi, Lumia?
Tak ada lah. Cuba, madam, bawah sikit.
Hmm.
Okay.
Dah okay. So kalau you run, you akan dapat code, you run the code, you get the output like this. So this is the execution time is 33.47 seconds. If you are wondering what is the execution time for this approach. Dah ke? Kalau dah, saya nak tunjukkan cara yang satu lagi. Repetition.
Dah, madam.
Dah Aiman, okey? Aiman senyap je. Aiman ada ya?
Ada.
Sundus okey ke? Sundus? Zahid? Saya risau dua orang ni. Yang dapat depan ni. Sundus dengan Zahid ni.
Yes, Doctor.
Okay, did you get the output, the same output? Oh, this is so lagging. So I can conclude that I will proceed based on these three students who have respond. Okay, Amir, Aiman, and also Nazifa, because Sundus is not reply. Zaid also not reply. So now can we proceed to the second technique of coding, which is this is the sequential. Now we want to make it as a repetition. Okay, so how to, if you want to revise, or you want to do revision later on, maybe you have to copy and paste this code to another place first. Okay, because here I will just modify the code, modify the original code. Okay, so dah ready?
Dah.
Okay, right. So if you have two, in this array have two dimensional. Okay, the row and the column. If you want to apply repetition, meaning that you will have two loop. Okay, two loop. In this case, we will apply for loop kan? Kita akan apply for loop. So in this part, for read task mark, you will need two for loops. And how you implement these two for loop is by using nested loop. Okay, right. So the first for loop is to represent row. Okay, is to represent row, and the second for is inside the for loop. This is to represent the column. Start with 0. Okay, right. So since in the for loop we need to provide three arguments here. This is initial. This is to know how many times that we need to repeat the statement inside this body. Okay, and this is the increment or decrement value. So in this case, I want the row. Okay, this loop will repeat until size row. Okay, not more than size row. And the row is row plus plus. Okay, for the column, okay, also it will start with 0, and the column need not more than size column. Okay, so this is call plus plus. Okay, so what is inside this? Okay, you specify the row, you specify the column, then you inform what they need to do. So actually they need to read the read the read the value entered by the user. So here you replace with row, and here you replace with column, right? So the rest of the code you can remove. So this is how we simplify multiple lines of code, the same code, to a single line of code here by using looping. Okay, so the first the first for loop is to indicates the row. Okay, the second for is to indicates the column, right? So have you done this? Okay, this is to receive input from the user, right? So we done the read. Now we go to the display. Okay, so the display starts here. Okay, it starts here. You masih nampak saya?
Nampak.
Okay. Sebab satu lagi connection saya putus pula. Sekejap ya. Okay. So this part, okay, kita nak display yang ni dan juga yang ni. So maknanya kita masih gunakan dua for loop lah. For is for the first row, for the row. And then another for inside the for. So this is to represent the column. Okay, so we make it complete first at this part, the first for. So it will display not more than the size of row. Senang kata saya copy je lah yang ni. Okay. And then the column. Right. So I need to have this, right? And this is represented by row and column. Okay. So as you can see here, if you analyze the platform pun di sini. Dah dapat dah yang ni. Okay. Have you done this?
Dah.
Dah So if you analyze,
Dah.
alright. If you analyze this, okay, the code at the column 0, okay, at the column 0, need has these two escape sequence. Okay, while another three here only need only one. Okay, so how to differentiate this? So I state here, if call is 0, else if call is not 0, okay, if call is not 0, this is the column saya refer kat call ni. If call is not 0, then execute only one, execute this with this one sequence structure. Escape sequence. But if the call is 0, okay, if the call is 0, then it needs to have these two escape sequence. So, saya buat. So, kita yang ni. If call is 0, double equal, then okay, it will have this. So this is row, this is call. Okay, if not, it will use this format. So you dah boleh delete lah. Right? Kalau dah settle, then okay, I think I give you 1 minute to check the code for the display part. Okay, so now we try to build and execute. Okay, build. Okay, I didn't declare for row and call. So now I will do the declaration first. So the row and call is integer type. So row and call. Okay. So rebuild. Okay, now it's a 0 error. Okay, did you receive 0 error? Okay, so now we go to we execute. Right. So in this execution, I would like to have this value. First student is 20 with 19.5, 18.2. Then second student, we have 18.5, 20, and 19.2. So enter. Now it will display the value like this. So kalau you tengok kat sini, this is the 120, 90.5, 18.2. 120, 90.5, 18.2. So it's correct. 2 here, 18.5, 20, and 19.2. So this is also correct. Just in terms of formatting, you have to adjust. Okay, so that the value start with 2 here will be displayed on the second row. Okay, on the new line. So how to do that? Dia sepatutnya lepas ni dia akan keluar dekat second row kan. So I think here we need to provide ENDL. Okay, because this is the 4 for column and this is the 4 for row. So I think the new line should be put it here. Okay, so try to execute. Okay, kita try masukkan balik. 1, 20, 19.6, 18.5, 20 and 19.2. Okay. So we have the almost a similar output with this. Okay, kalau nak cantik lagi, mungkin you have to separate between the read and the display part. So if I want to adjust the format. Maybe before this is the read part and this is the display part. So before display, maybe I need to provide another instruction to provide spacing between line. Okay, I would like to have a 2 spacing, so I provide 2 ENDL. Okay, so execute again. So this time, okay, tak suka dia ada kat sini. Maybe I need to adjust here. This is also need to be after the statement. Okay, now the cursor is on the next line. Right, so 1, 20, 19.5, 18.2. Now the second row here is for 2, 18.5, 20 and 19.2. Okay. So now I have a better view, better display of program, which is I have a program that separate the read part and the display part. Okay. Alright. So ada soalan? Right, kalau tak ada, okay, by today I will upload the lab sheet for array. This by end of this, sama ada minggu ni ataupun hari ni lah, right? Because the lab sheet is ready, but I need to do some verification first before I can give it to you for you to do the to do the programming. Okay. If you need this as your example, I think you have your own programming code for each example. So I think you can use that one as your reference for you to do the lab. Okay. Right. So ada soalan tak so far setakat ni? So as you can see here, the execution time by using this technique is 25.72 seconds. The previous technique to provide the same output is almost 34 seconds. Okay, which is the previous one is a little bit longer than the repetition structure technique. Okay, ada lagi satu teknik yang akan cepatkan lagi program ni adalah dengan menggunakan pointer. Tapi kita tak sentuh pointer dalam kita punya syllabus ni. Okay, sebab yang tu kalau pointer tu you nak tengok, you boleh explore sendirilah. Sebab I think nak buat sampai ke array and functions pun ambil masa juga dah untuk dapatkan semua sekali. Okay. So, ada soalan tak setakat ni? Aiman?
Doktor,
Amir,
video ni
Nazifah
nanti
ke?
upload tak?
Saya upload. Cuma dia ada ambil masa sikit lah, Aiman.
Okey, tak apa.
Saya akan upload tapi ambil masa sikit lah.
Alright, thank you doktor.
Is there any question from Sundus ke? From Zaid ke?
No, Doctor.
Right. Amir dengan Nazifah dah tak ada soalan kan?
Tak ada.
Okay. So thank you for attending this class. Hopefully buat programming bersama-sama dengan kamu semua akan dapatkan lebih jelas lah bagaimana kita akan implement array dalam program. Okay. There are many techniques to apply the array in the program. Whether you can use selection structure, the sequence structure or the repetition structure, or out of topic, which is a pointer structure, indexing structure. Tapi yang tu kita tak sentuh. Jadi dengan dua teknik dia, harapnya dia dapat you dapat tengoklah macam mana teknik tu dilaksanakan. Okay. So saya rasa itu sahaja. For the lab sheet for this topic will be uploaded to the author by end of this week lah. By end of this week, insyaAllah. Right. So next week we will start our the last topic, which is function. Okay. For the function, I will not give you the theory because the theory is in the books. Okay, in the lecture notes. I will also provide the video lecture on the topic of functions. But I will focus for the next class is to do the programming with you by using function. Okay. The theory tu nanti saya akan sentuh sekali ketika saya buat programming tu. But before you do the programming using function, hopefully you can do quick revision or quick reading on the function topic. Okay. Please revise. Please download the function lecture notes, or I will give the link for you to watch the video on the topic of function. Okay, so that during the next class, it's easy for you to recall or matching with the notes with the read material and the practical skills that you have during the programming session. Okay, so saya harap itu saja for today. InsyaAllah next week kita jumpa lagi. Assalamualaikum dan selamat pagi.
Thank you, Madam.
Okay, madam.
Welcome.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you. Welcome.